Yeah, I would say, Hatem, being around franchisors for as long as I have, 20 plus years, everybody has the different motivation on why they franchised or what like excites them, what gets them up out of bed in the morning and loves being a franchisor. Um, for me, money was not first at all. I loved the impact I could make. And quite honestly, I'm super competitive. I wanted to win more than anything else. I wanted to help our franchisees win. We wanted to be the market leader. And that's what excited me. And for me, I don't know. Anytime I ever tried to do anything for like making money as the priority, it never worked
Yeah,
out for me. Yeah. And if I led with passion, led with my heart, and wanted to flat out win, I could do anything, and I could endure challenges and
exactly.
pain that we all confronted with in franchising. When you it's win first and help your franchisees win. But I can see I think it was great that you pointed out that your role as a franchisor changed because most of the folks that are listening to our podcast that are emerging founders, when they're starting out, what they're not realizing maybe is when you first franchise, your role as that co-founder or president or CEO, it's going to dramatically change once you start awarding or selling franchises, that you're not going to have that be able to have that same personal touch that you had early on, that you have great responsibility. It's almost like, you could be so hands-on and you could have so much interaction with franchisees when you have single digit number of franchise owners, but you start getting in the neighborhood, you have 25 franchises open now. You're only one person. You have a team, of course, but your responsibility gets much grander. And in order to keep the flywheel moving, right, it requires a lot more of you to have a different set of priorities, right? What would you say are your highest priorities now as a co-founder than it was early on? How is that different?
So I think, a CEO or anybody that's kind of becoming the leader of a franchise or a franchise that becomes a franchisor, if you don't have a game plan from the beginning of why are you really in this, like, we say win, but win what?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? For me, it's always being like entrepreneur. Like you said, it's not the money thing, but it's like being a entrepreneur, So it was, for me, winning means opening more shops. For me, winning means, people making money
Hmm.
because in return, if they're making money, I'm selling more franchises. It just got to a thing where, okay, my main priority here is to make sure that everything's afloat. The wholesale is the biggest, you know, um, engine of the place. But if I could show these franchisee numbers
Right.
to people when they sit with me, like in the beginning, I was almost a beggar, like after 4 or 5 shops, after the whole family phase went away, and it started being like random people calling, I'm there selling it. You know, I used to tell them like, we used to, email. It would be like in Chicago, and they'll be like, okay, we'll call you. I said, don't call me. Just I'll meet you in Chicago. I want to meet you. You know. So it was like I want to go there and I want to sell them this concept, and I want to take them to different coffee shops. We're not in Chicago yet, but I want to take them and show them. And I want them to come to Michigan and taste our coffee. And it was that kind of thing where I'm really going out there selling it, and making sure that they believe in this concept. After a while, it becomes a thing where, look, the franchises are opening. This is how much money they're making. This is a very good start for us.
Hmm.
When we're on the table, this is a very good start. Now we'll do all the rest of the stuff. So it became like, you're getting the yes as soon as they see the numbers. A lot of more numbers driven franchisees, but I always lean more towards owner
Right.
operators, always. And I love that. So we would have people that would want to just invest and they don't have the money. I used to just tell them, listen, I don't have the managing capability. I just can't do it. So it became a thing now where
Right.
position I'm at, it's really just making smart decisions. You know, that's what it comes down to. As a
Hmm.
franchisor, you're just making smart decisions now. Now there's no more room for, making decisions that are not filtered properly. Not, you're just looking to them properly because one decision now could make a huge difference. So it's becoming that thing where it's control
Yeah.
inventory, which was a big portion. And then I also had to, make sure that the
Hmm.
franchisees understood what they're getting themselves into. Because before it was like,
That's
let's go, we're
great.
supporting each other. Let's do it. You're gonna make. But now it's like franchisees I
Right.
never met, and I'm trying to sell them this idea, you know, and it's like they just can't see what I've been doing for 4 or 5 years. Like our first 4 years, I wasn't making no money. You know, I was making profit, but I was putting it back into the company.
Hmm.
But I had some friends that I would borrow money for just for my living expenses. It was that kind of thing where it's like you just can't show them this stuff. Like, trust me, if you just hang on and you just do believe in yourself and you you're trying to sell them the idea. So, for me as a franchisor, the learning curve is just crazy. There's so much stuff. Sometimes I just forget. I forget the stuff because there's so much stuff coming at one time. Like you're just putting out fires, you know? And
Right.
for us, it was like a good thing. Fires were
That
good.
is,
They were good problems we were
yeah,
having. Like,
right.
we didn't have a good
They are good
managing,
problems.
marketing team. We didn't have the best software. But it was good problems to have. You solve them, you solve the good things. So it just fires. You're basically waking
Sure.
up every day and you're thinking fires. And you just turn them out. And then you go to your other, put on your other.
Right. You're a first responder. That's the job of an emerging franchisor. You're a first
Yeah.
responder because you don't have everything in. You think you have your systems and processes in place, but it's still a learning curve. I love to tell people all the time. It's like I learned a lot. Obviously, you learn everything through your mistakes. The goal is try not to make the same mistake twice. You said about trying to make smart decisions. We make the best decisions with the information that we have. Unfortunately, we don't always have franchisees that have that same entrepreneurial spirit that we have, or that that same burning desire to be successful. And not everybody has the same aspirations. Our goal is though to help them achieve their goals and making sure that they're profitable. But we're dealing with a lot of different personalities. And as you said earlier, once you went from the friends and family franchise owner to now people who you didn't know, that's a game changer because now you're dealing with a completely different set of expectations. I'd love to hear you talk more about that. How does the expectation change when you're dealing with an entrepreneur, a franchisee who you don't know that comes into the
Yeah.
system?
So I think the most thing that I could point out when it comes to that question is really just more structural. They're looking for structure. So the questions are much the same.
Mm-hmm.
With family and friends is different, but franchisees that you don't know, they kind of have a idea of franchising or they've been in business, so they're asking questions that like, oh, it doesn't work like that. Like, I don't know the answers to these stuff. I can only give you the answers that I have for these 6 locations that I have in Michigan. It would be like, have you done marketing
Right.
analysis in California, the Bay Area? Like, oh, I haven't. I can't go to like every city and do marketing analysis. But I would tell them like, I would believe in you that as a franchisee, I'll come out there, you know, and also, but I would believe that the franchisee would understand their market. I'll give you the concept and I'll help you understand the concept and then we could work on that together. But it was like so much questions that were so formal, and I was like, I don't know. Just,
Right.
I don't know. I can't tell you I know and I don't know. So it's that kind of thing. And I used to think it would be the bad thing. And it would ended up being a good thing. Honesty, like transparency in the franchise world, it's a
Mm-hmm.
big deal. So when I tell them I don't know, they would actually appreciate it more. You know, and I started realizing like you could
Absolutely.
tell them you're gonna make this much, and if they make less than that, they might not be as happy, because you over exaggerated. You over exaggerated the
Definitely
concept,
not.
so
Right.
I would really when I meet them, I just be as honest as I tell them, look, I don't even
That's
understand the
awesome.
franchising concept. I'm new to it. You're also new to it. For people that haven't opened franchisees, we're gonna learn it together. But I would just, that was the thing that was helping most is I would just tell them, look, I don't understand this question you're asking. I haven't really gone to it, so I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand it. I'll do my best to learn about it, but we could either learn it together or I could just, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know. So it was that kind of transition, more structural
Yeah.
than numbers. Numbers was the thing, you know. It's like, okay, it's like, how much are we making? How much are we going to make it? I was like, I don't know how much you're going to make. I know the net profit, I know my gross margins and I know my net profit. So it's that little barrier where it's people that haven't franchised. They have a sense of business, not like the people in the beginning with family and friends where they were just more happy about. It's that middle where it's like, they haven't franchised, they have a little business sense. And, some of them are just very, I don't know how to put it in a nice way, but they act like they know what they're talking about and they don't know. But you don't realize that until you stuff later on,
Yeah.
So it would be that those kind of meetings, where it's like a lot more structural and just more numbers. And then also it's like, you want to tell them, like, trust me, they're not like your family and friends, It's not that kind of thing. So it was more, it's just selling it.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fumey, or Emerging Franchise Group, LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.